Welcome to the Make Water Work podcast, where we dive into the people, ideas, and innovations shaping the future of water. I'm your host, Isaac Pellerin, and alongside my co-host, Megan Glover, the founder of 120 Water, we bring you insights from hundreds of incredible conversations we've had over the past 9 years with inspiring and energizing leaders in the water industry. Each week, we share those stories and conversations with entrepreneurs, community champions, and innovators who are making water work for everyone. Whether you're a water professional, a curious innovator, or simply passionate about our most precious resource, this podcast is for you. Let's get started. Welcome to the Make Water Work podcast, where we celebrate the people innovating and serving the water industry. And today we're going to talk about innovation
and the entrepreneurs that are making it work. And before we go and feature today's entrepreneur and their company, Isaac, we've gotten a lot of questions about us and our stories and how water found us. And I think it might be interesting to know that it was actually entrepreneurship. We were entrepreneurs for startup companies way before water found us. And so thought it might be interesting to flip the tables a little bit and ask each other, how did water find you? And share a little bit of the journey prior to finding water. And then how does the water sector differ than other sectors we've been a part of, and then turn it over to our featured entrepreneur. How does that sound?
I think that sounds great. It is wild what happens when you put a spotlight in everyone else and getting some folks being like, "Well, you're asking everyone else how water found them. I want to know your story."
I want to know your story. Yeah,
that's what we're gonna do.
That's
today.
what we're gonna do. Yeah. So actually, I hired Isaac back in 2010.
2010.
And prior to founding 120 Water, I mean, I had spent over a decade in startup and scale up businesses, building out go-to-market motions and really finding that product solution fit, making sure we had strong, value props, and honestly, just scaling the business. Finding, passion and building businesses from zero to whatever milestone through that, next exit. And so, did that for 10 years prior to starting 120 Water and brought a lot of that go-to-market muscle into 120 Water when we founded the company, and actually that business building muscle that I think we don't see a lot of in water. And so, Isaac, I think that's a little bit of my journey, and I think it's been so exciting to work with you again in water. So why don't you share, how did you get here?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too, because as you were sharing that, I was also thinking about the diversity of businesses that you worked in. We met at a sales and marketing tech company. You also did some things.
I did healthcare. I did healthcare, retail. Ed tech.
Yeah. So within that time, there were a lot of diversity, and that becomes a strength when you're starting something, is that you've experienced it from a lot of different approaches, and not just seeing it from one single threaded lens. But how water found me, it kind of starts. I think when I think about going to college, I studied computer science and computer graphics in college, and then I ended up working at a church it was a church plant in a community that had high unemployment and had a lot of needs, and so a lot of the passion that drove me in that was wanting to have an impact, and it was my first quote unquote startup. I think there were 12 folks at the time. And after 5 years, we had grown working in YMCAs, hosting those things to about 500 folks, which was a lot of learning how to build teams and tell stories. And so a lot of those things just became part of what it was. And that was actually one of my roommates in college. His brother worked at the company where you hired me.
He literally handed me your resume and said, "This guy's great. I know it doesn't look obvious on paper, but he'll be a great fit."
I did not look obvious on paper, and so I learned to design emails and learned email marketing and learned marketing automation software, and then after that, got to work in a number of other. Our paths kind of diverged and worked at a handful of other startups. But as soon as you started 120 Water, I remember meeting you for coffee shortly after. And just kind of saying, this looks interesting. And when there's an opportunity and the team is ready to scale, sign me up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what was really exciting about our partnership early on and founding 120 Water is you were able to build the ecosystem, which is a superpower and necessary when you're building a company, right? So we'll always focus on, hey, talking to customers and are we building the right thing? And oh no, shoot, okay, gotta pivot this way. You were able to really help us build out the infrastructure around our thought leadership and connect us with folks that, quite frankly, weren't on my radar originally.
Yeah, I think that's one of the fun things about approaching any new ecosystem or problem is having a level of curiosity to say, how does this thing work? And so I do remember in those first 30, 60 days, I knew the impact that 120 was going to have. I didn't know anyone in the market at that point. Right. And I remember one of the companies that I'd worked for previously was within the Salesforce ecosystem in the App Exchange, and knowing that part of the Salesforce ethos was this 1-1-1 model. They give 1% of time, 1% of those things. I kind of sat back, and you told me that we were going to be looking to start raising our Series A, and I was like, I wonder if Salesforce has an impact fund. So started Google searching.
They do
that, and they were the mainline sponsor for Imagine H2O that year, and which was the accelerator, and there was still a window for us to get an application in. Didn't know we were one of 350 applicants, but I think the thing that worked well was, and that differentiated us, was our ability to tell the story of the impact and not just tell it at this is a problem, but hey, we actually have enough of the know-how to know how to get there, how to achieve the goals that we have. And the ecosystem of folks, I think within those first 30 days, I met the folks at Rogue Water, Ariane and Stephanie. They had a podcast. I asked them to write a white paper and introduce me to some folks. They introduced me to George Hawkins, and also met the founders of another startup called the Atlas, which was learning about how procurement in government works. And so it was Water found me, and then the thing that we had to do while you were building out the infrastructure of the business, the contracts, closing the deals. I was like, who is the audience that we need to reach? And was fortunate enough to learn from some of the most amazing people in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, and we ended up winning that year at Imagine H2O, highly competitive. You know, of all of the awards and accolades, that one's probably right up there. Because I remember saying it the first time, it was the industry legitimizing us that we belong, right? And we're gonna turn it over and hear from some innovators, right now coming up through the ranks. But we talk a lot about what set 120 Water apart from kind of other folks in the sector. And so, I think a couple of things, paying it forward to the folks we're about to talk to and whatnot, is it was very clear we were building a business. I think some of the other technologies and innovators may be wonderful engineers
Yeah.
and maybe wonderful scientists, but we were one of the first companies to actually say, we're building a business. We're building a viable business that's built on revenue, not grants,
Yeah.
right? That has paying customers, not pilots. Here's how we grow. Here's how we scale. Here are the people that we're going to put around the table to actually build this business, including you, Isaac, right? Because sales and marketing has to exist to scale a business. We know that very, very well. And so I think I have a couple, but I'd love to know, what are your top 2 observations and tips for innovation in this market? And I'll kind of close it out.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones for me is that, and I share this sentiment, the desire to have an impact in water. There are very few things where you can have such an incredible impact than working in the water sector. Because it solves such a big problem. And as much as I love the sentiment of water is life and that's why we need to do it, that doesn't necessarily answer the question of like, how is what you have a business? Yeah, and so I think where I empathize, or if I'm talking to water entrepreneurs, where I try to challenge them on is like, don't talk about the $1 trillion opportunity, and don't even talk about the problem that you're solving as much as how have you been able to uncover the pain that someone is willing to invest their money, their money to solve, not just grant money, not just something else. Because there's so many, and I've worked in the nonprofit world as well. Sometimes you can think that validation is because someone else says, yes, that should exist. But until the person that you're serving says that's painful enough for me to part with my dollars, it's hard to validate that it's a business and that's a business that can scale.
Yeah.
And so kind of sifting through and discerning between the mission, all in on the mission, is this a business? Those are 2 separate questions.
Yeah. No, I think those are great ones. I think, what I would add on to that is, capital, and the capital that it takes to actually break through in this industry, and not to underestimate the runway that you're going to need. I don't want to I know we've heard things like it's 14 years of commercialization. We can debate that, right? Because it certainly wasn't 14 years for 120, but we also had tailwinds that kind of accelerated that path to commercialization and adoption. But I think just understanding and being smart about how you capitalize your business, not only to give yourself enough runway to get traction. When I say traction, I mean it's paying customers and referring customers, right? And you don't need a lot. I mean, I think we were able to kind of build the flywheel off of less than 20 customers, right? But you need some, and they need to be recurring paying customers. And then, finding the capital partners that are willing to give you the runway to take it from 20 customers to 100, right? And being patient enough to know how fast that moves in water. So, making sure founders understanding that finding capital partners, it is a partnership, and it's half money and half partnership, and don't underestimate what that partnership needs to look like to be successful.
Yeah. You want the right people around the table.
Yeah.
And that's part of what the incredible accelerator in Imagine H2O, what they really did. I always think about when I think about acceleration, and I think about what happened after we became part of that cohort.
We were able to close our Series A.
We were able to, and we were able to say, like, you can either spend 9-12 months talking to all the VCs, or you can do that in 3 months. And doing that in 3 months not only made us sharper, it also helped us find the right capital partners for that next leg of the journey.
Yeah. Well, kudos to Imagine H2O, and let's listen in to some of the current Imagine H2O technologies out there.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, thank you for joining me. I'm Isaac with the Make Water Work podcast. We're doing a quick short at the Imagine H2O portfolio companies here at the Innovation Showcase. And I'm here with Barrett Hansen from Current. And so, Barrett, I want to ask you 3 questions. I want to ask you, how did water find you? How did you get into this industry? 2 is, what's Current's one-minute pitch? And 3 is, what's the ask that you have of the water community while you're here at WEFTEC?
Yeah, thanks for coming by. I'm happy to be here at WEFTEC and hanging out with you guys at 120. I actually ended up in water via electric and gas. I was looking at different startup ideas in a sector that I knew a little bit about because my wife works in solar. For a couple years there during COVID, everybody worked from home, and I feel like I basically was a part of my wife's job for a couple years. And I saw that they just really needed more new innovative software in that industry. And as I was looking at different ideas, it's really scary to think about selling to these large electric and gas utilities, PG&E, et cetera. How are you going to make that work as a startup versus the water industry is just totally different. I mean, there's so many water companies out there, over 50,000, and a lot of them are really small. A lot of them really need software help today that as a young company, we knew we could offer something within the first 6 months, year to 2 years that could solve things for them. So we were really excited to launch our product a couple years ago. We're up to about 50 customers now in the space, and really happy to have found a great community of people that are willing to value something new. Yeah. All right, I already forgot. Your next question was
1 minute pitch.
1 minute pitch. Okay. So especially for small water utilities under 10,000 customers, they really just need a simple solution. You don't have a lot of staff on hand to manage big, complicated billing programs like you might get at larger utilities. So we have a simple, easy-to-use platform. You can do your utility billing as well as anything else to manage your customers, create service orders, send out communications and alerts. And we integrate with other systems like Esri and AMI services. So you can just have a small team to manage everything and allow your customers to pay online as well. So trying to keep it easy for the small teams out there that deserve good software.
Great.
What's final question?
You have of this community?
Yes, so we're growing right now. We have a great product out there in market with over 50 customers, and we're looking for more. Either if you're a small utility and you're interested in learning more about how you can make life easier for your customers, we'd love to talk. And we're also launching a standalone customer portal soon. So that's going to work with other people's billing systems as well, but allow your customers to have better access to their AMI data, their GIS data, or anything else that they might want to access online.
Hey, Isaac, we are back on the innovation floor here at WEFTEC 2025, and I am with Heather Rubin. Heather, great to see you today.
Great to see you as well.
Well, we are super excited to learn a little bit more about your company, but first we have 3 questions for you. One, how did water find you? Please give us the 1-minute elevator pitch of RapidCure. And then also, what's your one ask of the water community?
Awesome. Thanks so much for the opportunity. Yeah, so how did water find us? It really came in a couple of different pathways. So one of our customers actually on the energy side sat on a storm water board in the same city. And so we learned that our products can go beyond our first infrastructure application into other spaces as well. In addition, we started learning more and more about the challenges in infrastructure and how our product could make a really big difference. The American Water Works Association has declared a $1 trillion funding gap to repair and replace aging infrastructure. So that was a big part for us to get excited about how could we step alongside this industry and offer something complementary to what's out there today. And so, yeah, the water industry really did find us. And now we are trying to really understand where the challenges are and where we can step alongside. So that's a part of it. And so moving into a pitch of RapidCure. So at RapidCure Solutions, we are developing really fast and tough infrastructure repair solutions. So what used to take maybe a couple hours or even weeks to harden in the field, we can do genuinely in just minutes. There's no, there's actually a performance boost here, so you're not compromising your performance, which is key. We have better resistance to a lot of different chemical environments, so we're looking to work with industry partners to help with stormwater lining applications, looking for channel partners, groups who are maybe already selling a product like this. Who are looking for a chemistry of resin that can go into their products to offer them more durability, longer lasting. So at RapidCure, we're in Loveland, Colorado. We're developing all of our products right there. All of our technology is enabled by a patented resin system that by simply touching with heat or light, in one spot, enables us to initiate a hardening process that allows us to do infrastructure repair, protection, coatings, to rehabilitate pipelines and other infrastructure as well. So concrete, we bond really well to all sorts of surfaces, wood, concrete, a number of other surfaces in between. Right now, we are actively selling to utility companies. So we are working with municipalities, with utility companies. We are talking with folks globally. So this is not just in North America. This is a global problem with infrastructure. As for what our ask is, so we are looking to the industry to help grow our company. So we're a relatively small business today, but we are looking to grow, and we cannot do that without industry partners. So we really, really appreciate those in the field. So if you're an operator, if you're a supervisor, if you are someone who currently has assets where you're seeing a lot of infrastructure failure, or if you offer a solution and you're looking to expand your solution offerings, we're interested in channel partnership opportunities, distribution opportunities. We do have an open seed round, so we are actively talking to investors. So if you are interested, looking to bring in about $3 million, really to help us with our capacity on sales and business development. The technology is proven. Our customers have been very happy with what we're delivering today. And so really looking to work with folks to grow our business.
That's awesome, Heather. Okay, and if folks want to know more about you or Rapicure, where should they go?
Yeah, great question. So they can visit our website, rapicuresolutions.com. There's no D. My email address, heather@rapicuresolutions.com. Happy to hop on a phone call or even come visit. We love doing demos, lunch and learns about the technology. So don't be afraid to reach out directly. Really would love to talk with those who think they can help.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Heather.
All right, I'm here in the Innovation Showcase at WEFTEC with Will Dubin of Manhole Metrics. And Will, I want to ask you 3 questions. 1, how did water find you? 2, what is your 1-minute elevator pitch? And 3, what's the ask that you have of the water community? Why are you here today?
Awesome. Thanks so much, Isaac. Great to be here. I'm Will, the founder of Manhole Metrics. A little over 4 years ago, I had a sewage flood in my basement whilst I was completing my Masters of Civil Engineering. You know, having worked and studied in the space, thought I'd dig into the issue a little further. Turns out there are about 1 million folks like me each year in the US, and something needed to be done about it. So Manhole Metrics was born.
Awesome. And what's your 1-minute pitch?
My 1-minute pitch. All right, we'll see if we can do this. So 1 million of these sewer backups per year in the US. Giant asset networks. We got about 5 million miles of sewer and stormwater here in the US. So that's enough to span around the world 200 times over, that are largely unmonitored. So asset owners and operators end up responding really reactively. So Manhole Metrics, our mission is to solve that. We offer collection system level monitors and software to help them be more proactive with real-time and predictive flood alerts, but other operational insights for blockages, I&I, etc. And our main thing is that we eliminate the principal barrier to widespread monitoring, which is total ownership cost. We've got a unit that comes in under $1,000 a piece, under $100 a sensor a year, and it has a 10-year battery life and can be installed by just about anyone in 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, so we're working with a number of the different largest collection systems in North America, including Toronto Water, City of Phoenix, East Bay Municipal Utility District. So more to come. Watch this space.
Phenomenal. And what's your one ask of the water community here at WEFTEC?
My one ask is, if you're a utility and you're interested in streamlining operations with collection system data, please come find us here in the Innovation Pavilion, booth 5715K.
Well, awesome. And congratulations on being accepted into the Imagine H2O cohort. It's a phenomenal community, and we are so proud of all of these companies that are here today.
Well, hey, Isaac, I am here at WEFTEC with Mark Lee from Vapor. And so, Mark, welcome to your mic drop moment with the Make Water Work podcast with Isaac Pellerin and myself. It's great to have you. Okay, so 3 questions for you. 1, how did water find you? 2, what's your 1-minute elevator pitch? And 3, what's your one ask of our water community?
Perfect. So yeah, great to be here in Chicago at WEFTEC. So how did water find me? I did an environmental engineering degree at university in Newcastle in Australia, and straight out of university, I did my internship with the water and sewer department in the city I lived in. Had a great time. It was really varied experience. Learned a lot about sewer mains, water mains, reservoirs, pump stations, and basically never left. So yeah, it's been my entire career. What does Vapor do? So Vapor is a software solution, and it's an AI machine learning powered software that really saves time for utilities and engineers in the industry. So we're able to process raw video that's collected from underground pipe condition assessments, and that goes through our AI machine learning model to automatically identify defects, to provide repair recommendations and suggestions for engineers, and help them prioritize their capital works programs and maintenance programs. It's designed for engineers that were just like me, who were spending loads of time watching video and not enough time looking at follow-on works, risk prioritization, and strategic asset management. So we're looking to empower engineers and improve their quality of work life. One ask and aim here at WEFTEC is to speak to all of those utilities and engineering consultants who are looking for efficiencies in the workflow for the condition assessment of their pipe networks.
Okay. And if anybody wants to reach out, where can they find Vapor?
Yeah, website, vapor.co. We've got Scotty Hunt, who's based in Indianapolis, to lead commercial strategy in Indianapolis. And yeah, really excited to be here and launch into the North American market.
Hey, Isaac, here coming from the WEFTEC Innovation Pavilion with Rick Opedisano. And Rick's company is Delta Bravo, and the product is called AquaSpec. So, Rick, I have 3 questions for you. 1, how did water find you? 2, I need a 1-minute elevator pitch of your product. And 3, what is one ask you have of the water community?
So how did water find us? Okay. Well, we inadvertently backed into water. I attended a sustainability seminar where I heard a professor from the University of South Carolina talking about the operator shortage, talk about the rising cost of running a plant, and the competitive nature of AI data centers, manufacturing, and agriculture, creating potential shortages and risk around the water ecosystem. So we were solving similar problems in the manufacturing space. And as I listened to these scenarios, I said, it's one thing to do something great for manufacturing, because that's wonderful for the GDP. It's a patriotic thing to do, help America compete. But if we apply this brain power and apply this talent and apply AI to this problem in water, we can do something for humanity. And so that's really how we started focusing on the space. Then from there, we applied for National Science Foundation Convergence Acceleration funding, which we won phase 2 recently, which is a $5 million award. So we are hitting the ground running. Now, the second question was...
1-minute elevator pitch.
Okay. So AquaSpec is the next generation operating system for water, wastewater systems, and utilities. We use a combination of machine learning and generative AI to help water systems treat, troubleshoot, and train 10 times faster than they can today. Our early pilot systems are seeing a 25% reduction in cost around energy, labor, chemical usage. And lastly, we're helping systems recover from resilience problems. So if they go offline, how can we quickly recover to a compliant state? We can help them do that 10 times faster than they're capable of doing today. We like to look at it from the perspective of all these wonderful systems here at a place like WEFTEC. They're all creating tons of data that people can look at. What we're doing, and that's great, that kind of takes the industry from the postal letter to the telegraph. We want to take it from the telegraph to the telephone, where we can contextualize that data in real time, make it hyper-personal with a system that everybody knows how to use from day one, that people in small systems can use, that people in mid-sized systems can use, and even the largest and the biggest of the big. And then the third question.
What is your one ask of the water community?
The one ask I would have of the water community is to push themselves a little bit in terms of thinking more forward-facing about AI. And what I mean by that specifically is AI can make a lot of difference, whether it's to a commercial business or a water utility, when you start to rethink your processes and workflows with the intent of using AI to drive them. So people are the bottleneck in the industry. That is one of our problem. People are the bottleneck. So how can we look at it like a manufacturing process with a focus on reducing or eliminating that bottleneck by using things like agentic AI within the human workflow that exists today? So just a little forward thinking, and reach out to people like us. We love to talk about this. As you guys can see, I have no problem talking. So we welcome the dialogue.
Well, thank you so much, Rick. And one last, if people want to find your company, where should they go?
Okay, great. So we have aquaspec.ai. Come to the website. You can contact us that way, or LinkedIn, Rick Opedisano, Delta Bravo, or just email. I answer all the emails. I'm like Mark Cuban. I will do it all night. It's RICKO, Ricko at deltabravo.ai, or Ricko at aquaspec.ai.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Meg.
Thanks for listening to the Make Water Work podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a conversation. We'd love to hear your thoughts and questions. Connect with us on LinkedIn or send us a message. Together, we can make water work for everyone.